Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip, and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Move on with the story. Okay. Let me see who all I got in here. Let me recognize who I got in here anyway. Thank you, Ian Hepper, for being here today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Ian Hepper. Thank you. Ian Hepper. Oh, I see my two hearts. I'm so glad to see you back, though. Welcome to the Pink House, guys. I'm surprised my comments, because they had deleted my comments earlier. I had put comments in here and they was all deleted. So I had to retype my comments again. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. Hello, chat. And that's why you see all these strange, like, hello, chat, because I had to test, because they was deleting me as I was coming in. Hi, Linda Gamble. Thank you for being here today, Linda Gamble. Hello, Nathan. Thank you for saying hello. Lady Leo. Good afternoon, Pinkie. Hope you're doing well. Been missing you. Thank you, Lady Leo. We can hear you and see you. Okay. And that's only on Pink Global, because for some reason they are not letting me go through my Pinkie the housewife one, but that's okay. Y'all know how people are. Can hear and see you. Okay, that's when you say that, say which live it is, whether it's Pink Global or Pink of the Housewife. Put PG for Pink Global or PTHW for Pink of the Housewife, if you don't want to spell it out. Okay. Hey, Pinkie and everyone. I'm in the bushes. All right. Thank you, Teresa. Hello, Pinkie and everyone. I'm in the bushes. Can't hear you on Pink of the Housewife channel. Go to Pink Global. Go over to Pink Global. Okay. Everybody, if you can't hear me, go over to my other go over to Pink Global, because they're trying to suppress me over on Pink of the Housewife. I guess these old, sometimes old people ain't got nothing to do. And these old people ain't got nothing to do. Okay? They trying to suppress somebody that's trying to get out a story. Okay, let me go ahead and show you what we're going to be talking about. The Nolan Wells case, conflicting stories. It is from the get-go. Missing details, and a family fights for the truth. And you see Nolan Wells there with all his friends, so-called friends. I'm going to call them so-called friends now. And then his mom and his dad. Yeah, beautiful family. Nolan looks just like his mom. Beautiful family. He got some resemblance of his father in him, but he's looking just like his mom too. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I just told the chat I just told the chat on Pink of the Housewife to come over to Pink Global. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like number 6. All right. They're trying to suppress me, but that's okay. I don't know why. I haven't done a thing to nobody. But that's what you got when you got pygmies and trolls. That's what they do. If they ain't working for themselves, they're working for somebody else. Okay. But let's go ahead and get on with the Nolan Wells case. Okay. So today we're going to be breaking down the death of this 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells, a Mississippi college athlete. Now that he was an athlete, okay, he was a darn good one too. Who's on July the 4th, holiday turned into a national mystery, tragedy, should I say. It was not just a national mystery, it was a tragedy for the Wells family. Nolan left home on July the 3rd for a simple boat trip with his friends. He was supposed to return home, but he didn't. But all of his friends, the 3 in the picture, the 3 people in the picture. Now, I'm covering this from the beginning to up until now because I didn't get a chance to because I've been in bed. But this is it. Nolan friends. Nolan is the young black guy in the center. Okay? Handsome young man. Everybody returns home but him. And then they act like they don't know nothing. How you not know anything? But that's okay. That's okay. We expect that. Okay? Well, at least I do. Okay? He was last seen alive on Horn Island, a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast, around 3 p.m. on July the 4th. His friends left that island without him. Hours later, his mother received a call saying Nolan was missing. By Monday morning, okay, now let's look at this timeline. I'm going to pull it up on my phone. I got it though, but let me just do something. Let me pull up. Okay, July the 4th is on, that was that Saturday. Monday morning, that's on a 6th, July 6th, on Monday, July 6th. So you mean to tell me she have to go that weekend without knowing where her son is and nobody giving no answers? Nobody is saying anything, and she got to go through this? Something is fishy. It don't sound right. It don't sound right, but that's what you get when you got to get answers from people like that. Okay? So let me do this so I will keep a note. It's on a Saturday, and then Monday is July 6th. Okay. I just have, so I can keep track. Okay. Okay. So on July 6th, a U.S. park ranger found Nolan's body on the northwest end of the island. And tonight, well, not tonight, it's not night, but this evening, we're going to walk through every detail, the timeline. We're going to walk through the timelines because Dan gave a lot of timelines. Dan gave, when I said a lot, and Dan gave the GPS coordinates and everything. So the timeline, the inconsistencies, the GPS data, the press conference, the statements from his family, the involvement of civil rights attorney Ben Crump, and the questions that would still have not been answered. What happened to Nolan? Why didn't he get on that boat? Why did his cell phone and his car keys end up at somebody else, in somebody else's hands, at somebody else's house, and he's not there? But they're not talking. If you got somebody's cell phone and you got their keys, car keys, why you ain't trying to make sure that person get his car keys? Because you don't want them to get them. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. And this is alleged. Okay? because you don't want them to get them. Simple fact as that. That's thank you, Linda Gamble. She's saying hello to Teresa, Pink Global. Okay, bye-bye. Hey. Okay. That was hubby. That was hubby going to get me some lunch. Okay. All right. Because when I get off this, because I woke up just in time to do this live and realized somebody was playing in my live. Having these old people be playing with you. I'm serious. These old people be playing with you. They ain't got nothing to do. Well, they should have something to do. Shit, they need to go find a job. I don't care how old you are. If you got enough time to play with me in my life, you can go find yourself a job. Okay. But anyway, Pink Global, 8 likes and 3 in the chat. Now, y'all got to remember on Pink Global, I always have, like I said, on Monday morning, July the 6th, the U.S. Park Ranger found Nolan's body on the northwest end of the island. Now, we're going to walk through every detail, the timeline, the inconsistencies, the GPS data, the press conference, the statements from his mother, which is very important, the involvement of the civil rights attorney Ben Crump, and the questions that still have not been answered. Because this case is not just tragedy, it's conflicted, it's incomplete, it's a full of missing details, should I say. And people are not speaking. People holding their mouth shut because they and lowering up. And you won't do that unless you got something to hide. Why all of a sudden your friend is missing, but you ain't saying a word? His mama got to come and get the keys from you. His mama got to come and do this, and mama got to come and do that. Something is wrong with this picture. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know. Although I got a great scientist. But it don't take a rocket scientist to know. Okay? So now we in the Black community, we know when something sounds fishy and looks fishy because we have been put under those types of scrutinies forever, for a long time. So we know when something ain't right. It's like, this ain't right. Something ain't sounding right. Okay? So we know. Like Don Lemon say, old people be knowing. Old people be knowing. I don't know about all that old people be knowing, but if he said old people be knowing, they be knowing. But these old people right now are getting, they trying to suppress my life. I'm serious. These old people trying to suppress my life. And I don't know why. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on to it. See, they trying to take me off. They trying to take me out of what I'm supposed to be doing and everything. And I know they are. I know they are. Because normally I would be going straight into what I normally do it. But I know what they're doing. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me go ahead and take Pinkie the Housewife down. Because Pinkie the Housewife is no more for right now. Because they already messed that up. Okay? So let me okay. Now Nolan was an elite athlete. That means you're good at what you do. A strong swimmer. Now, if he was a strong swimmer, how the heck did he end up in this situation? I'm just saying, just my personal opinion. I think it was some type of foul play. I think somebody did something just my opinion, and it's allegedly. But I'm just reading the tea leaves. I ain't got no tea leaves, but that's what they say. You can read the tea leaves. Linda Gamble said 9 likes and 3 in the chat. And that's guys got to remember that's because we're on Pink Global. Because Pinkie the Housewife, then already blocked that one. They got that one shut down. Thanks to my old people that's messing with my channel. Thanks to the old people that's trying to keep me from doing what I do. Yeah, I'm saying old people because I told you I know who they are. Okay, but anyway. Okay, let's go ahead and get in, finish up. Nolan was a strong swimmer. The young man with a future, and according to his family, someone who would never willingly stay behind on an uninhabited island with no phone, no ride, and no plan. That don't even make any sense. So I'm with his family on that. As Nolan, this young man is very intelligent, very smart. Got a plan, got a head on his shoulders. Why would you do something that don't make any sense? That don't make no sense. And his mother knows. His parents knows that's not him. Now, if you got a stupid child, that probably would be that stupid child, but not Nolan. So tonight we're going to break down what happened from July the 3rd to July the 11th. We're going to examine the stories. Well, past July the 11th, we're going to examine what's going on as of today too. Okay, but examine the stories that don't line up, and we're going to talk about why Nolan's family is fighting loudly for the truth. And let me say this: you have to fight loudly. You have to let your voice speak loud, because if you go into fight quietly, let me see that part. That's what they want you to do, because that's how for years, for decades, for centuries. Okay, that's how it was. For the blacks, you kept your mouth closed because you're afraid the people with the white hats, pointed hats, and the white robes, yeah, and or they'll pick you up and lock you up for nothing. They'll put a crime on you. But not today. Black people ain't taking that today. We ain't taking that. We speaking up. We speaking loud. We letting everybody know. Because if you don't let everybody know, they're going to sweep it up under the rug. They're going to let these, I don't understand why none of these young men have been questioned. Why none of them have been locked up or taken down to be questioned. I don't understand. I guess they look like my granddaddy. You know what I mean? They look like my granddaddy. That's why. That's why. Or they look like some of the other folks in my family. I'm talking about the ones that Republicans that I don't claim. Yes. I don't claim them. But anyway, Horn Island. Okay, let's look at this timeline. But before we look at this timeline, let's go ahead and get a video. We're going to go ahead and do a video right quick. And then we're going to look at this timeline. Okay, guys? We're going to look at this timeline. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Ooh, Lord, I tell you. Ooh, Lord, I tell you. The devil be working overtime. And believe me, the devil is in 2026 too. He never left from all them other years, and he's still in 2026. He never left. Okay, and he's getting ready to wreak havoc the rest of this year, all the way to 2027, all up in 2027. So y'all better be ready. You better prepare yourself and be ready. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into our first video on the subject. I want y'all to hear what Jasmine Crockett had to say. This is Jasmine Crockett. Y'all know I love myself some Jasmine Crockett, right? And this is only 4 minutes and 25 seconds. That's why I'm playing hers. Y'all know I always love to do a short video anyway. So we're going to do Jasmine Crockett. And we got other videos about the family. This is a short clip with Jasmine Crockett saying what a lot of people want to say. And this is a TMZ clip. TMZ clip. Let me just make sure. Jasmine Crockett don't hold no punches. She ain't playing with y'all. She don't be holding no punches, and she ain't playing with you. Okay? Jasmine Crockett says she ain't got time to play with y'all people that don't think nothing is wrong. Y'all may try to stick y'all head in the sand all you want, but she ain't playing with you. Like I said, this is a TMZ 4 minutes, 25 seconds.
Yes.
Here she is, looking beautiful.
Hi, Congresswoman. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Nolan Wells investigation. Some people feel like it's racially motivated. What do you think?
I mean, I think that specifically as Black Americans in the United States right now, we are always going to question whether or not there is a racial motivation. But also, if you know the history of Mississippi, I think that you'd have to be blind not to question potentially what is happening, especially in the case of an 18-year-old who ends up deceased without his cell phone, without any communication whatsoever with anybody prior to ending up deceased. And he was out with his Caucasian friends. And then law enforcement tells everybody there's no foul play to be suspected. Now, a blind man could see that there's something to investigate. And so I want to applaud the legal team, Ben Crump and his team, as well as his parents, for not giving up and accepting no as an answer.
Well, it sounds like you think it is racially motivated.
I absolutely think that. I can tell you that we don't have any answers. But if you think that race is not something to look at, then you are not really trying to investigate.
So what do you think?
That's true.
Well, I mean, you know me. I'm a civil rights lawyer. I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the fact that these white kids deleted their social media accounts. It's not like they sat down and talked to law enforcement. It's not even like law enforcement decided that they wanted to sit down and talk to them. They decided, oh, the little Black boy ended up dead without his cell phone, without his friends, going and telling his parents, oh, yeah, we got the cell phone. They got to go and track down the phone and find the phone. It looks like a racial thing to me. But hey, maybe we'll find out that it wasn't.
Well, what's interesting is we had his football coach on our TV show today, and he said that there was never any racial tension between any of the students or anything like that. So, I mean, that kind of points that maybe this wasn't racially motivated.
I mean, I can't say what even the cause of death really is. We know that there's an independent autopsy that's going on. But I can tell you that race is absolutely playing a role. What role? Whether it has to do with his death, whether it has to do with the fact that maybe your friends left you to die, or your friends didn't care that maybe you did die. I do believe that there's a racial component, or if it's just in law enforcement not feeling as if Nolan Wells was worthy of an actual investigation, but instead decided that there was no foul play, seemingly with no evidence, without talking to any witnesses. That to me is where there are racial components to this for sure. But I will not say that I know for sure that race played a role in his death.
Are you in the camp of if Nolan was white and his friends were...
Yeah, okay. The friends, listen, they would have absolutely been under the jail with no questions asked first.
Really?
But for sure.
Okay.
We already know this. Like, we know how, I mean, think about it this way.
You're saying it's a done deal. If Nolan was white, his friends would be...
If Nolan was white, they would be in jail. They would ask questions later. It is the same thing that they do with anything else. When you look at law enforcement and how law enforcement treats a Black person in general, a Black person with no gun, they somehow get so scared that they end up dead. But you end up taking, say, a white racist killer who decided to go into a church and gun down a bunch of folk. They took Dylan Roof with no problems. We know that he was a known killer at the time, right? So like they fear black skin, and they treat black skin a lot differently when it comes to the criminal justice system.
You know, I'm sure some people out there will look at this and maybe think like, Jasmine Crockett doesn't know what she's talking about. So to them, you have to say what?
They will walk a day in my shoes. That's what I have to say. I have lived it. I have seen it. I am someone who has been in the courtroom as a trained attorney doing criminal defense work as well as civil rights work. I know what bad policing looks like. I know what it looks like when communities are consistently under siege. And frankly, if you don't understand that we have race issues in this country, when just in 1 week, ICE has gunned down 2 people that they allegedly weren't even looking for, then you're not paying attention. They only did that because they were brown.
Ooh, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Because we know, even the person that was asking the questions, you can't, I'm going to tell you the truth, because I got it all in my family. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I don't care how much you try to tell a clear-skinned person, a white person, that race plays a factor in something. They ain't gonna believe you. I got them in my family. They don't believe me, and I can talk to them every day, and they still not gonna believe nothing I say when it comes to race. Matter of fact, I have one in my family that didn't believe slavery was real. And this was no more than about a year or 2 ago that question came up. And the person did not believe slavery was real. I'm serious. This is a grown person, not a 20-some-year-old, but a grown person did not believe that. And I don't know, did they not believe it because they was taught to not to believe it, or they just one of those ignorant white people, but they didn't believe it. They did not believe it. And I was told that. It was like, what? But I know and still today, they voted for this. They voted for this. I don't know that person, because I already put that person on notice. But the rest of them, they voted. They voted for this administration. Yes, they did. And let me tell you, they ain't even rich. They ain't even got no money. They want them kind of struggling like everybody else, like the rest of them. And then they voted for their own demise. I can talk about them because they write it. I ain't talking about all of them. I'm talking about the ones that's in the family. Okay, in this family. Yeah. Straight up redneck in this family. Straight up redneck. I just got to deal with them. I deal with them. With a long arm, but I deal with them. Yeah. Oh, Lord a minute. Lord a minute. Do I wish I had rednecks in my family? Hell no. But I got some. Okay. But anyway, we're going to get on with the matter at hand. All right. And leave the rednecks where they are. And the ones that don't believe slavery was real, right where they are. Okay. But my grandfather, I must say, I love my grandfather. He was the coolest. He was the coolest. Yes, he was cool. Okay. But anyway, let's get on to the finish up, guys. That was Jasmine Crockett on what she her reaction and her feelings on the matter of the Nolan Wells case. Okay. And I agree with her. Okay. So we're gonna let's talk about this timeline. Okay. On July the 3rd, the night before, Nolan cooked salmon for his family. Ooh, Lord. Cooked salmon I'm not a salmon eater, but my family is. They love some salmon. Leaves to spend the night with his friends before the holiday. July the 4th, the boating trip. Nolan and his friends traveled to Horn Island. Last seen around 3 p.m. wearing blue swim trunks and sunglasses. But this is a tricky part. This is tricky because somebody said he was wearing black swim trunks. Obviously, if you look at the picture, Nolan got on blue. So how the hell do you say they was black? Y'all, you got to watch it. The devil will try to make you what you see with your own eyes, he'll make you think you don't see it. He will make you think you don't see it. But you got to stay steadfast in your belief in what you see. Because they will, just like January the 6th, they said they're trying to tell us we didn't see what we saw. We know what we saw. They're trying to rewrite history. So they're trying to rewrite this Nolan Wells case, the situation that happened on July the 4th. They're trying to rewrite it and make it fit their narrative. So we have to stay steadfast. Okay. So they saying somebody was saying black swim trunks. This young man had on blue, wearing blue trunks and sunglasses. Friends claim Nolan said he had found another ride home. See, that's another misconception, misinformation. Because I could have sworn I watched the video of that young girl that came out saying that he said he was going to ride back with his friends. So which is it? Is he riding back with his friends, or he's going to find another way? Another way home meaning he's not going to ride back with his friends. That's what I'm getting from the picture. Okay, friends leave the island without him. Why would you? When you go together on an island, or you go out together, all of y'all go out together, then you leave without him? That don't make no sense. Pinkie, with Nolan being identified by dental records, do you think his body was damaged beyond recognition not to jump ahead? Oh, no, jump ahead if you have to. Thank you, Teresa. Dental records. If they can't just look at that body and say that's him, that they got to go to dental records, they only do dental records, in my opinion. In my opinion, because y'all know I don't have a medical degree. I'm not a doctor. I'm not none of that. I don't perform autopsies. I'm just a housewife. But if they got to do dental records, that means that body must be unrecognizable. It must be in bad shape. And how can that body be in bad shape when this just happened July 4th and the body found a few days later? That don't make no sense. Something. Thank you, Teresa. Oh, see, I got my you know, the chat be knowing. You can't get nothing behind against the when your chat, because your chat acts. We are like the police. We are like the detectives. The police ain't doing a job. So I got my chat detectives on. Y'all, come on with it. Come on with it. Come on. I got my detectives here. All my detectives here. Y'all come on from the bushes and drop those questions, because that's how we make this don't make sense. Okay, friends leave the island without him. When you go together, you leave together. Around 11 p.m., Nolan's mother received a call saying he didn't return. 11 p.m. Why so late? Nolan is reported missing. Mom and Daddy got to do their own investigation. That's sad that the local authorities are not doing their job. Ain't nothing to see here. They're not doing their job. Mom and daddy got to do their job. But that's okay because mom and daddy got a whole force behind them. They got social media behind them. They got Ben Crump behind them. They got every body that knows this ain't nothing but a force. This ain't nothing but a force. A force. This don't make no sense to us. But those crooked folks in Mississippi, and I know they crooked in Mississippi. I got a whole lot of family down in Mississippi, and I've been down to Mississippi too many times. I walked Mississippi. I even lived in Mississippi. I know they as crooked want to be. You don't trust them, y'all. You don't trust them folks down in Mississippi. Law enforcement, y'all can, but I know I won't. I won't trust them with even if I can throw them cross my pond over there. I still won't even try. Just my opinion. I'm not saying don't y'all trust them. I'm saying I won't trust them because I know they ain't nothing but I know what they are. They the good old boys. Okay, let's talk about July 5th. The search begins. The Sheriff Department, Coast Guard, the United Cajun Navy began search. Okay, the weather delays search. Search resumes with helicopter support. That's on July 5th. Remember, he didn't return home on July 4th. On July 5th, there was a search started. July 6th, body found. 2 days later, around 8:45 a.m., a U.S. park ranger finds Nolan's body. If you know that was his body, why you have to do dinner records? Okay? Location. A mama and daddy can identify their child no matter what condition they're in. Northwest end of Horns Island. That's where they said he was located. Cause of death, pending autopsy. But, okay, cause of death pending autopsy. Why has it got the pending autopsy when the authorities said nothing to see here? I'm paraphrasing. Nothing to see here. Why? There's too many whys. Most of us already tell our kids, if you leave with them, come back with them. Yes, we do. We do. As Black parents, I don't know about any other parents, but Black parents always tell their kids, if you leave with your friends, you come back with your friends, because they know there's a lot of evil white folks out there. I ain't saying I'm white. There's a lot of them out there, and there's more out there than not out there. And no matter, even if they ain't one of them evil, clear-skinned people, they still gonna take their side. If anything happened, they still gonna take their side, regardless. They ain't got to be right. They'll still take their side. They know something is crooked, and they still take their side. They band together like flies on honey. Okay. Now let me just say this: on July 7th. Family hires Ben Crump. They're doing an independent autopsy ordered. Crump announced the independent autopsy. July the 10th. Okay, let me, I wish I had a calendar here. Oh, Lord. Okay, July the 10th. That's this Friday. That's Friday of last week, July the 10th. Okay, body was found on July the 6th. Okay, July the 10th, it was a major press conference. But don't forget, on Tuesday, that July the 7th, Ben Crump. They're doing their own, and that's when family hires Ben Crump, and they're doing their own independent autopsy. Okay. Now, July the 10th, the major press conference. Okay. So let me pull up that major press conference, because this shit don't be making no sense to me. I'm sorry. It ain't making no sense to me. Okay. 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 Let me see. We're gonna do this. We're gonna listen to this. We're gonna listen to this live press conference. Let me try to find one that's not as long. Damn, all of them are long. I hate to tell you, but we're gonna just let this press conference play out and not cut it off. We're just gonna let this press conference play out because all of them, no matter which one we watch, from NBC to Associated Press, all of them, they are long. So, and then this is 8 days ago. We're going to watch this little short one first. Attorney Liza Park on Nolan Wells case. We're going to watch that one first, and then we're going to get to the one with Ben Crump them. Okay? The major press conference. Christine and Elmo, whatever that is, speaks at the National Action Network. Crump calls the case riddled with conflict stories. It got holes all in it. Okay. Shopton says details do not make sense. Make it make sense because it don't make no sense. Family says they've seen videos of a fight. Yes. There was a young man that came out that says, that's not Nolan, that's me. Okay. Chef asked witness to come forward. That chef don't want no witnesses to come forward because why would you say ain't nothing to see? Well, I'm paraphrasing, ain't nothing to see here. You was like, it's a done deal, he drowned. A strong swimmer, just because he's black, he drowned? You think every black person can't swim? My kids swim like fish. And they never took swim lessons. They swim like fish. They can swim their butt off. Do you see what I'm saying? They have to know how to swim when you got a big 50-footer boat. And yeah, black people have boats too. They own boats too, bigger than the one that they had. Okay, I know, because we owned one for over 20 years until my husband decided to sell it. So I know. So not all black people don't know. My kids been to so many islands and stuff. We pulled up at so many islands, it's ridiculous. Okay. So not every black person don't know how to swim. Thank you, sweet Teresa. They also wear life jackets too, because every boat has to have life jackets on board. And we had them, But did I use it? No, because I had a personalized life jacket. That's pretty. I had my pretty one. Okay, so I didn't want to wear the standard that every boat have to have. Okay, so we're getting ready to watch this here. Because I don't be playing with these folks. Okay, let me pause this. This happened 8 days ago. So if I go back 8 days ago, today is Saturday one. So this had to happen. Well, I ain't gonna say when because I'm just gonna read what it says 8 days ago. Because YouTube is sticky for that. They ain't gonna play into YouTube's hand. Okay, this happened 8 days ago. I'm gonna turn the caption on. So for people that can't hear good, y'all can at least read it. All right. And I hope next time I go live, I don't get people trying to play with me, taking a serious topic and they want to play with it. That's people. I tell you, these old people ain't got shit to do. They be trying to play with you. They need to go sit themselves down somewhere. I'm serious. They need to go sit down somewhere. Okay. We're going to go ahead and listen to this. Nolan Wells family holds press conference with Ben Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton. Okay? We're going to go ahead and listen to this. Wait now. This is a 4-minute one. Is it the same one? Let me just go back. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to go back and make sure this is not the major one that everybody's talking about. Okay, that's that one 8 days ago. No, because this is just 2 days ago. Okay, so this is a different one. Okay, this one it says 8 days ago, and then the other one that they held is 2 days ago. Okay, so we won't get it twisted. We're going to play it right after this. Okay. And this is with WWLTV. Okay, 4. And that information will be down below my description box. And okay. So Crump calls the case riddled with holes and conflicts. Shopton says details do not make sense. Family says they've seen video of a fight. Chef asked witnesses to come from. You know that chef don't want nobody to come forward. Shit. July the 11th, investigation expands. July the 11th was that Saturday. 1 week ago. A whole week ago. Because the 4th was on July the 4th was on a Saturday. The following Saturday, July the 11th, a whole week ago, the investigation looks into reports of an altercation because the authorities down there didn't want to do shit to me. Another boy claims the audio circulating online is his confrontation, not Nolan's. Okay, we're getting ready to play the press conference and the family video commentary. Okay, we're going to do all of that. The National Action Network press conference, the sheriff's statements, the mother's social media video. We're going to look at all that. Also, the GPS and the phone data. Okay, we're going to try to get all that in. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the press conference. Like I said, I'm trying to make up for all these days I haven't been live. I haven't been live since the day before 4th of July. I meant to say they also have on life jackets. Wait now. They also have on life jackets. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. Thank you, Sweet T. She be on it. Teresa be on it. She be on it, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and hear this. This is only 4 minutes and 12 seconds. And that gives us enough time to watch that full conference of the family with Ben Crump. Okay. Linda said 9 likes and 4 in the chat. Thank you, Linda. Okay.
I think that most of you at this point are aware of Ben Crump law and many of the cases that we represent in this country. Some of these cases you don't know anything about until we get involved and we shed some light and we explain to the media what has happened and you all let America know what has happened. Mm-hmm. Sometimes cases come and you all already know about it. This is one of those cases. Yeah. I saw this in the news before I got a call from Ben. This was already huge in social media, already out in general media. Why? Why? Because it doesn't take an attorney. It doesn't take a special investigator. It doesn't take someone with extreme training to know right off there's something wrong here. This is, as Ben has put it, not adding up. It is so obvious. There are so many people in this country that go missing, right? Everybody knows this. But this case has captured everybody's attention. Think about why. You know that something is not right. It doesn't take us. It doesn't take the Reverend Al Sharpton, Ben Crump to tell you and then think, oh, now I know something's wrong. We know something is wrong. Mm-hmm. And for every single person that was in Horn Island, and we know there's about 200 people, there's a lot of people. We know that Horn Island is a popular place during the holidays. It's a popular place on the weekends. You have to get there by boat. It's the only way to get there. You have to leave by boat. Mm-hmm. It's the only way to leave. So many people out there. If you are watching this, if you see this, and you are struggling about what to say or what to do, you know what the right thing to do is. Mm-hmm. Call Ben Crump Law. There's this thing called the internet. It's very easy to find that number. Call us. We have an entire call center. They're waiting to hear from you. If you didn't go to Horn Island, but you've heard something, because people are talking. They're talking with each other. They may not be calling the police. They may not be calling us. But you heard something. We need to know that. We need to know that. In America today, so many of us, we want to believe that the last several decades, we've made so much progress in our race relations, don't we? We want to believe that. Whether you're Black or you're white or you're Asian, that's what we want to believe. We wanted to believe that this past 4th of July when we celebrated 250 years, right? If you want to believe that, you've got to be part of the solution. You've got to be part of that. You have to make it happen. And if you have information, please call us. It is incredibly important. People out there, you have answers. You may not know exactly what your information means, but if you saw something, say something, please.
Okay, guys. Okay. Whew. If you know something, say something. Don't just keep it to yourself. If you know something, say something. And I think a lot of those kids, they know something. They're just not talking because they know what happened. They're going to band together. They're going to band together. Them white folks ain't, they know. Growing up in Mississippi, I'm looking for my straw. Growing up in Mississippi, they know they're doing just like their parents do. They're doing the same thing that their parents do. Okay. I'm glad y'all got a chance to see that. Now let's go ahead and look at that big press conference. Okay. The big press conference with Ben Crump and the family. All right. Oh my God. I mean, let me just say, everybody got all his friends, Nolan friends, his friends chose to stay silent. They got conflicting stories. Family says this is impossible. The racial dynamics of this. Nolan was the only Black person on the boat. You can see in the photos. Sharpton said, "We're not ruling out race, and I don't blame you. You in Mississippi, one of the poorest states in this country." Search and recovery. Multiple agencies searched. The weather delays them. The body was found by a park ranger. The autopsy and the transparency. There is no transparency. They keeping everything tight to their lips. They ain't even opening their lips. So that's why you have to have, you're going to have two of everything. Two independent autopsies that's being ordered. One by the family and being Crump, and one by the authorities. That's what they're supposed to do. If it was left up to them, this stuff would have been gone under the rug and there wouldn't be no autopsy at all, in my opinion, just my opinion. The official autopsy is pending though. But the video evidence, the family claims the fight video exists. There's a fight video that exists. Another boy disputes it. Now, if we have time, we're going to bring up that young man. I saw that young man speaking and everything, and unanswered questions. I wonder, was he a patsy? When I say a patsy, somebody to put out there to take attention away from the white boys. I wonder, was he put out there to take attention away? And I really want to get into that GPS, okay? Unanswered questions. Why did his friends leave him? That's the biggest question. It don't make sense. The girl that came out that they said he wanted to stay behind and talk with and everything and be around, her comment, her statement is different from theirs. Not that they took a statement from her. What happened between 3 p.m. and the disappearance? Why did the sheriff dismiss foul play early on? That is a question, like nothing to see here. Remember, they were saying nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Why did he do that? They always do that in black cases. Just like if a black person you find a black person hanging from a tree. They'll say, oh, suicide. And you be trying to figure out, how the hell did he get up there? Why would a black person commit suicide? That's the worst thing you can do for a black person. A black person, black people don't hang themselves. But leave it to the white people. That's not the thing. Or they drown, or they get pulled from a truck. The body being pulled from a truck. Oh, okay. What does the GPS data show? So we're going to get into those. Okay. Let's go ahead and watch this first. Should I do the GPS? No, let's watch this video first. Let's stay on target. Okay. We're going to go ahead and watch this video first. Okay. We're going to stay on target. Now, remember, guys, I said this video is kind of long. I did say that because all of them are long. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to find one. All of them are long because they're doing we're going to do it with PBS. I like doing things with PBS News. I really do. Don't ask me why. I just do. One news station I definitely wouldn't trust doing nothing with. And I ain't going to say who that is, because y'all know who that is. Y'all just know who that is. And if you don't know, I'm sorry. You should know. I'm just putting it in my description box so y'all can go back to these things at will. Okay, this is PBS News Hour. This was eight days ago. They did another one out at the courthouse steps. Wait, now they did another one, but we're going to listen to some of this with the with PBS News. Wait, now, do I really? Wait, give me 1 second, guys, because I can. We need to know the latest. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to just get this is massive. 17 hours. It got to be because everybody's reporting it 17 hours ago. "17 hours ago." Just give me a second. Yeah, somebody else reporting it around the same time. So we're going to just go ahead and jump on it and see what it's about. Okay? Mm. Okay, give me one. That way we can get it all in. I'm trying to make sure we be able to get it all in. That's what I'm trying to do, guys. And y'all know I love Law and Crime Network. I do. Y'all know I love Law and Crime Network. Nolan. Let me do it again. I put it up here. Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to put everything in order. I'm just trying to put everything in order. So when I, okay. Here we go, guys. And then this one here will be after that. So I'll put that one to go next. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready? Oh, this is still PBS. Here it is, right here. Okay, here we go. Law and Crime Network. Pinky, I just sent you his Nolan Round funeral information. Oh, I got that. Oh, you did? I got it too. It is Sunday. Let me put it up here. Thank you, sweetie. And you know what? I got it too. Here it is. I'm going to show it to you all. I need to download it. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to read it off. Thank you. Here, let me just move this down so we can see. Here it is, the funeral information, and I'm going to put it up for you all too. Thank you for reminding me. Funeral announcement, Nolan Xavier Wells, Monday, July the 20th, 2026, Center Point Church. That is 6201 MS 57, Ocean Springs, Mississippi, 39564. You can pull that up on your GPS if you need to. Visitation, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Funeral starts at 11 a.m. Entrusted to Lockheed Williams Mortuary Incorporated. That's at 2018 31st Avenue, Gulfport, Mississippi, 39501. And then they do have a website, which is Lockheed, what is it? LockheedWilliams.com. But the funeral is on Monday. Okay, that's in 2 days, Monday, July the 20th of 2026. At Center Point Church. That's in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Okay. Now you can go on. I will be dropping that into here. for you all to see. Let me just pull it up. Okay. Okay. Okay, I got it pulled up and I'll show you after this here. I'm going to try to stay on track. Okay, y'all ready? Oh, that's still PBS. PBS really want me to show them for some reason. And I want to show PBS because I like PBS. But we're going to get to that. Let me go ahead and show this here right quick because this is the latest information coming. Now it just says 18 hours ago. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Teresa. And this is July 10th, 2020.
They're not saying the same thing. One of them is telling the truth. One of them is not.
Discrepancies, conflicting accounts. This is now part of the Nolan Wells investigation. You're going to hear people ask whether someone is lying, which is very fair given the reporting. It's time to review the questions and the contradictions related to the case of Nolan Wells' death. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. I think it's time to list out all the apparent contradictions, the unanswered questions in the Nolan Wells death investigation, the discrepancies that we're seeing. I just wanted to condense it all so you have it all here to make sense of it. Is someone lying? Is anyone lying? Who would be lying? What's not adding up? Now, we're not going to make accusations that people aren't telling the truth, but what we're going to try to do here is show you the difference of opinion, the different narratives, the contradictions, the apparent contradictions. Now, we're talking, of course, about Nolan Wells, the 18-year-old Southwest Mississippi Community College football player, graduate of Ocean Springs High, who disappeared while boating with friends on Horn Island, right off the coast of Mississippi during the July 4th weekend. Access to that island is limited to boats. It's a wilderness area. There's no commercial development. That's a very specific area. Now, he reportedly didn't return with his group of friends on their boat that day. His family reported him missing the night of July 4th after receiving a phone call at around 11 p.m. from one of his friends. So again, the report came in, late July 4th, early July 5th. His body was found on the island that Monday, July 6th, washed ashore. His family is demanding transparency. They are demanding a full investigation, a thorough investigation into what happened. And as you know, if you've been following our coverage here, you know that they have retained civil rights attorney Ben Crump. So let's get into the discrepancies. Let's get into the contradictions. One of the biggest contradictions right now is, what was Nolan doing? What were Nolan's movements that day? So Ben Crump held a press conference that the boys on the boat had claimed that Nolan went to Horn Island and decided to talk to a girl. Even one of the boys' mothers, Ashley Cole, according to WLOX, confirmed that her son said that. Her son was apparently with all them that day. And also confirmed that the boys had taken off because of boat trouble, which we're going to talk about. And that seems to be true. I'm going to explain that in a minute. But the Jackson County Sheriff's Office said that it believes Nolan stayed on the island. ABC News is reporting that one of Nolan's purported friends, Trayston Shepard, claims Nolan wanted to stay back to talk to a girl and that he would come back on another friend's boat. Shepard saying they met that day, and it's kind of one of those things. He did come off that day, that he really did like her, but that was the only time they ever hung out. Now, what is in dispute is whether Nolan actually did that. So that's one perspective, right? That's one narrative. But according to Ben Crump, this girl allegedly said that Nolan told her he was going back to the boat, as Crump said in the presser.
They're not saying the same thing.
True.
One of them is telling the truth. One of them is not. We have to get to the bottom of that.
According to People, Nolan's mother, Christine Wonsley, spoke to this young lady as well. Christine said in an interview with the Griot, she did reach out to me initially, just saying basically like it was a hey and bye type situation. That interview, by the way, was published July 14th. ABC News claims that they tried to contact this young woman, that authorities have announced they've been interviewing anyone Wells came into contact with that day. So presumably they spoke to her, right? Look, we don't know her identity. We haven't heard from her publicly, but you're seeing this apparent contradiction about what Nolan maybe did.
I got a photo of her. Since they don't have her identity, I got a photo of that young lady. Let me bring up her photo. This should be the woman that all in question. Young woman. Oh, let me bring this down. Young woman. And in this says this woman, he was allegedly last spotted with Katie I'm not going to say her last name again, since they was having a good time before he went missing. Said woman. Okay, this is the woman that they're saying. Her statement is different than his friends.
And by the way, we haven't really heard from anyone else on the boat or on the island that day publicly, which adds to the confusion. Everyone is tight-lipped. All right, real quick, not to take away from this, but we have this really, really cool sponsor that supports what we do. And I got to say, like, nothing ruins a great outfit faster than a broken, worn-out belt. But Anson Belt and Buckle, they are here to save the day. Anson is a family-run company that has completely reinvented how belts should work since they launched in 2009. Can you look at this right now? Navy belt. Where do you get a navy leather belt like this? So instead of holes, Anson uses a micro-adjustable track system with quarter-inch increments, so your belt fits perfectly and adjusts with you throughout the entire day. So whether you're sitting, you're standing, maybe you're on the move, you're going to look great, you're going to feel great, you're going to look sharp. This belt is awesome. It's stylish. And by the way, since every strap and buckle are interchangeable, you're always going to have a belt that perfectly unique belt combinations all in for help when their boat was in trouble. Reporting about your belt game today. Oh, and by the way, the boat having problems, interesting. We don't necessarily see a discrepancy in that, particularly after the new reporting about audio dispatch. So NBC News has obtained audio of what seems to be Nolan's friends calling for help when their boat was in trouble. Listen to this.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Yeah, so based on that brief report and accounts from NBC News and the New York Post, it appears that boat likely had 7 people on board. The boat was having trouble at around 4 p.m. The boat operator reportedly said, hey, we're at the west tip of Horn and our bilge pump stopped working. I want to get this boat unsank and towed back. So the boat was reportedly towed for 3 miles, picked up speed less than an hour later. But look, that still raises a question, right? It raises a question about Nolan's whereabouts. It also creates a discrepancy in the timeline. Everybody on board? Was Nolan on board? Probably not based on the timeline, though maybe saying everybody on board is just saying, yeah, everybody's on board. I'm not saying, Nolan was there or Nolan wasn't there. If he wasn't there, I'm just saying everybody who was there was on board. Now, CBS News also obtained GPS data from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources that tracked the boat's movements. This is big too, because this is information they say they obtained via records request.
I'm glad they're doing that GPS data. I'm sorry, I was on mute. I'm glad to hear this. Okay. And it is a discrepancy. And if you notice on the call saying that your boat is taking on water, there was no distress, there was no excitement or worry or panic or anything in that voice. It sounds like a call that you just got to make just so you can have a timeline just to distract from what happened. Just my opinion. And it's alleged.
And according to the reporting, the vessel apparently left the dock at approximately 9:56 that morning, arrived at Horn Island at 11:14. According to GPS data, the boat left Horn Island at 4:31 that afternoon, returned to its original departure dock. It then traveled into Fort Bayou at around 5:52 before returning to the dock at 6:06. Later that evening, the boat went to the Fort Bayou boat launch at 7:19, traveled overland, which would suggest it was towed by a vehicle to the owner's residence. So to put that into perspective and why it matters, Ben Crump claims Nolan was last seen on the island at 3 p.m. Again, according to Ashley Cole, the mother, her son, right? She's a local judge, by the way. She says her son claims he last saw Nolan at around 3 p.m. on the island, and her son left at 4:30 p.m. Now, we haven't seen necessarily a discrepancy in terms of when Nolan was last seen, but this is something to keep in mind, right? This is one of those outstanding questions. And the DMR report that was obtained by CBS News indicated that the boat's owner, his mother, and another person who was with Nolan, they are cooperating with the investigation. We will see if the timeline shifts, but this is one of the questions again about Nolan's movements. Now, the biggest discrepancy here is Nolan's family says this is not like Nolan. It is unlike him to stay behind and leave his group of friends. His father, Elmore Wonsley, said to GMA, Good Morning America, we always taught him that if you go with a group, you stay with a group. If you go with 5, you come back with 5. Do not separate from the group because I always said safety is in numbers. So he knew to stay with this group. So why would he split from the group? I don't know. When they said that, it turned me off, but it raised a question. I know he wouldn't do that. I preach that to him every day. You're lying to me. Now, there's also been quite a big back and forth about whether he ever made it back to the boat, back to the mainland, because it centers around this photo of a party. a photo that seemingly, arguably, shows Nolan at this pool party early in the morning of July 5th. So in other words, if you believe that, the idea would be he left the boat, made it to the mainland, went to this party, died somehow, brought back to Horn Island afterwards, and then found dead and washed ashore. I mean, that would be presumably what happened, right? The problem is, look, Ben Crump even apparently shared this photo, again, of what people believe to be Nolan at this party. And according to the New York Post, Crump posted this photo to social media. And this was a post that was circulated by Crump. This was from an account called Chanel Tarot TV. The streets are talking. Now, listen, I don't know if these are facts or rumors because no official statements have been confirmed. We sometimes have to follow all clues until the truth is found. Here's what was discovered on social media last night. Social media allegations claim a photo exists of Nolan at a land-based pool party in Jackson County before 1 a.m. on July 5th. But the discrepancy, the contradiction, Shepard, right, who I mentioned before, Nolan's purported friend, said that that photo wasn't from July 5th. It wasn't from that weekend. It was actually from a party on June 27th in Pass Christian, Mississippi. Rolling Stone reported that that photo was taken at 11:58 p.m. that night in June, with the outlet confirming that another person provided them with metadata for that photo and other photos from that night. So Ben Crump was asked about this, right? Ben Crump was asked about that development at a press conference this week, kind of went on the defensive. He said, I didn't share the photo. I just reposted it.
We're reposting everything. Let's make it clear. We're reposting everything because we're trying to get people to come in and call. And so we've said from the beginning, we're in a ferocious search for the truth. And so things out there, we are trying to post, ask people, do you know something about this? Let us know. Just because we repost does not mean that we authenticate anything.
There's been a lot of discrepancies and contradictions and different narratives about whether a fight or altercation took place too. So Ben Crump mentioned that there is a video circulating on social media on or near Horn Island in which he seemed to claim that Nolan might be heard, that he might be heard saying, quote, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing? During a press conference, when he was asked, look, how do you know that that's Nolan's voice? Crump reportedly said that multiple people identified it as Nolan's. But according to ABC News, Nolan's friend, Mr. Shepard, claims that there was no altercation, that Nolan wasn't involved. Shepard even says Nolan isn't in the video. He said, quote, that's me yelling. There was no talk about a phone in that video. Nolan wasn't on the island. Shepard says that this was a fight with a stranger. Shepard told Rolling Stone, those were not Nolan's words. They were mine. I get that everybody wants justice for Nolan. Everybody wants to know exactly what happened. Now, Crump was asked about that this week at another presser, and he said, that's what a witness told us, and that's what we put out. And then another witness has come forward and said, no, that was his voice. We have other witnesses who said there were other altercations. We're trying to go through it all. We have audio people doing it, but we know certain people said it was him, and there are certain people who say it was not him. By the way, there's also no clear consensus on Nolan's phone either. Ben Crump said at a press conference last week, quote, what teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? What teenager wouldn't take their phone? It's not adding up at all. And he reportedly also highlighted that the family seemingly believes data, messages on that phone, on no.
There's no teenager's going to leave their phone behind. There's no teenager is not going to be on an island having fun or suspect to be having fun with his friends and not do some selfies, videos, shorts or reels or whatever you want to call them, and pictures of them. And just, what teenager's going to do that? And the young man that Shepard or something saying that's him. We're going to have to listen to that. If not today, we're going to try to get everything in today.
Nolan's phone may have been deleted. And we believe that the family actually recovered his phone from Nolan's friends using the Life 360 app. But Nolan's friend, again, Mr. Shepard, told ABC it's not unusual for people to leave their phones in boats. Shepard's uncle, who was apparently driving one of the boats that day, confirmed that. Shepard said, quote, all our friends are out there. Who are we communicating with? And we're in saltwater. We're not in freshwater. When Nolan got in the water, he put his phone on the boat dash along with probably 15 other phones. And this is another update, by the way, as we try to get to the truth about the phone. We have learned from Ben Crump that Nolan's phone will undergo a mutual inspection by both state investigators and the family's own experts. So that could be a game changer. That could be very interesting. It's different to see that, right? A mutual inspection. I spoke to attorney Tyler Bailey about this. Take a look.
It's highly unusual that a victim's family, along with their attorney, would be allowed to participate with law enforcement in the inspection of a cell phone data that's really the crux, one of the crucial pieces of evidence with this case. I don't think that would have happened without a lot of the chatter going on around the country about how this investigation has transpired. And it shows there's some distrust between the family and law enforcement here. So there should be some forensic experts regarding data extraction present with the state, and also there will likely be an independent one that Mr. Crump's office has present with the DA at the same time. So that way, everybody can see it at the same time whether all data is being extracted, make sure nothing's being left behind. Because the big issue here is that the early announcement of no foul play, the evidence of the cell phone that the family received, I believe a couple of days after Nolan went missing, or the night of, I can't recall the exact time, and then the missing of text messages and Snapchat data. And by allowing joint experts or joint data extraction at the same time, it's going to help the family feel comfortable knowing that all data is being looked at, is not being piecemeal. Because oftentimes I've seen cases where there's been a cell phone data that's been extracted and the state says, oh, well, that's other information deleted, we can't get it. But that's not normal. When a forensic expert can see what's been deleted, what's been altered in the data.
Now, I would say, obviously, the biggest discrepancy, the biggest question we have right now, the biggest mystery, how did Nolan die? What was the cause of death? Look, at this time, the results of the state's official autopsy, meaning the one from the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Lab, have not been released. Seemingly, there are pending toxicology findings that they need to get a hold of. We also do not have the results of the independent autopsy that has been ordered by Nolan's family through Ben Crump, where Nolan's body was apparently taken to Washington, D.C. Ben Crump said the delay was due to canceled flights. Now, in an episode where we're talking about contradictions, if these two autopsies do not match up, if the results are inconsistent, that's going to be an issue. Ben Crump told Don Lemon that the independent autopsy will find out, quote, if he had any physical injuries to his body beyond drowning. Here's how retired Detective Matt Irvine thinks about it.
It's not unusual to have more than one autopsy in a case, and it's not unusual for medical professionals to disagree, and more than it'd be unusual for scientists or other eminent professionals to disagree about how to interpret facts in a case. The autopsy itself, at least the preliminary autopsy, both the official one and the private one commissioned by the family, should be complete or close to complete now or very soon. But there's additional steps, like looking at toxicology, for example, that may take, again, additional weeks. So that's going to take a while. I think that probably additional potential witnesses may be identified besides the group of friends that went to the island with Mr. Wells. Those interviews may take additional days and weeks. They're probably going to be re-interviews as they gain information from one person that requires them to go back and clarify or confirm information with somebody they've already talked to. So I think we're probably talking about a matter of weeks, both for the Jackson County Sheriff's investigation and hopefully for the independent investigation sought by the family and by Mr. Crump. So I'm hoping it's not going to be too much longer than that. The tough thing about a case like this is sometimes even after all the information is in, you don't have a clear answer. I mean, for example, if the determination is that he drowned, well, that's a cause of death. It's not a manner of death, right? You could drown accidentally, you could drown by suicide, you could drown by homicide. So we might, at the end of the day, have all the facts in and still not have an answer that satisfies the grieving family or other people that are concerned about what happened.
Because the forensic evidence wouldn't be so clear to suggest how someone drowned, right? I mean, how could you show, unless there was some sort of blunt force trauma or some sort of evidence of, he was held down or pushed in the water or something like that, it'd be really hard to know.
Exactly. And even if there are some injuries to his body, depending on the injuries, they could be something caused by another person or caused by a body being in a rough current.
There's not even an official conclusion or consensus on when or where Nolan died. Did he die on land? Did he die in the water? Did he die in a boat? His body was found on July 6th in the water by the island. And there are questions that remain about why he wasn't found earlier. Ben Crump said in an earlier press conference, quote, he went missing on July 4th, and they say his body should have been there on July 5th. Why would it not appear until July 6th? That's one of those things that's just not adding up. Now, I asked Brian Trasher from the United Cajun Navy about this. He was part of the search efforts for Nolan. He was there when Nolan's body was found. He was up in the air. Now, keep in mind, this was early on because Nolan's body wasn't even officially ID'd yet, but take a look at what he said in this earlier interview. Just to clarify something, why wasn't the body spotted earlier?
I think that I can tell you that I've started flying over the island, that part of the island where the body washed up, approximately 6:30 a.m. And I believe he was spotted by a park ranger at 8:45. My belief is that he just washed up within that time period because we were flying kind of a long grid north and south. And I think he just washed up and park ranger just doing his normal runs in the morning, but also too, given the situation, I'm sure they were a little more hyper aware and probably a little more head on a swivel on the island, knowing what happened and what was going on. But yeah, I was told that it was about 8:45 when the ranger spotted, called it in, because I did see a long line of emergency boats coming heading southwest toward the northwest tip of the island. My opinion is that when he went into the water, however he got into the water, he didn't go that far out before he drowned because it only took like a couple of days for him to drift right back south to the tip of the island, same tip of the island where he was last seen.
He said drowned. Nolan's supposed to be a very strong swimmer. Why is it black people? It's only people, even whether you can swim or not, they say you drown. I'm not saying maybe it's just him. I'm not saying nothing wrong with the guy Cajun rescuer that was out there searching. But oh, that word.
Had he gone a lot further out, he probably would have gotten sucked into the channel and pushed way further south toward the Chandelier Islands.
And I mean, another source of discrepancy, or perhaps why the family is working with an independent team and investigators conducting an independent investigation, is that authorities with the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and other agencies have initially said they don't suspect foul play.
Yeah.
There's a question, is it too early to say that? Why did they say that? Look, the sheriff seemed to indicate that Wells' body did not have homicidal trauma, that it seems like drowning. But he also said that even without the autopsy coming out. And the coroner indicated that he's not going to speculate yet. By the way, this is according to People magazine and ABC 7 reporting. Interestingly, WLBT3 reported that Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves has joined the conversation, commenting on this case for the first time, saying, "What I will simply say is I don't know all of the details. I don't know all of the facts surrounding the case. I have yet to see a fact or a piece of evidence that suggests any foul play. But if there is, I feel confident that the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office, the members at the Department of Public Safety that deal with these crimes, if there had been one, they will find it and they will do what is necessary." But look, talk about discrepancies.
That's what he's supposed to say. You got to remember who he is. So he ain't going to say nothing different. And he ain't going to be looking for nothing different. He don't want to see nothing different, no more than what the sheriff said.
The family has concerns that something else might be going on here, raising questions about when he was found, why he went off on his own, no phone, but also how could no one see him? If it's a packed island, if he was drowning, no one saw him, no one came to help. And also they highlight he was athletic. He was in, quote, tip-top shape, that he knew how to swim. And you also have multiple things happening here. So not only the family seeking answers and the investigation moving forward, but this is concerning too. TMZ reports that the FBI office in Jackson announced that it is reviewing threats related to the Nolan Wells investigation. They don't specify what kind of threats, who was getting them, who they were directed at, but the FBI indicated, quote, these efforts are in parallel with Jackson County's independent investigation. According to WLOX, Sheriff John Ledbetter of Jackson County, indicated that the FBI is helping examine digital evidence in this case too. And just to add to this potential discrepancy over whether foul play is involved or not, and who could allegedly be involved or not, according to ABC News, Mr. Shepard said that investigators have spoken to him and his friends, and he emphasized that they have a diverse friend group. He indicated that he and his friend group have been receiving death threats since Nolan was found, that he wanted to speak out to clear up any misinformation, stating that neither he nor his friend group had anything to do with Nolan's death, that he rejects the idea of race being a part of this, considering the idea that Nolan Wells is black, appears that he was around all white people. And quote, they're trying to spin a narrative that's not there. He's wrong. I understand Nolan's parents are grieving, and I really think he's taken a little bit of advantage of that, and I don't like that. I really don't, because they're vulnerable. And Shepard asked for everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan and let us remember him as the sweet guy he was and not something we're scared of because of the trauma we've had. If Ben Crump is doing his own investigation, let him do it. And then let the sheriff's office conclude their investigation and figure out the facts on their end. Let us all just know the truth instead of jumping to two conclusions about things. We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind us. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken.
The reason why people, I'm not saying it's right, but the reason why people are giving so much hate is because nobody's speaking up. Everybody's lowering up. None of his friends are trying, are showing any sympathy. They're not concerned, in my opinion. They're not showing any concern, sympathy, or anything for his parents or anybody. They just want to lower you up and just go and keep their mouth closed. It took the mother, allegedly, in my opinion, and what I heard, a while to get the keys, and she had to go and do it herself. The keys to his car, go get a cell phone, and text messages allegedly was deleted. Seemed like people were trying to hide things, and then the sheriff or whoever, the authorities, ain't nothing to see here. It's just not adding up. And then the mother of one of the sons, that's a judge. Everybody trying to cover their butts. So if you're trying to cover your butt, why are you trying to cover your butt? It's going to be a telltale thing when that funeral happens on Monday in 2 days to see who shows up.
so short. I just know I lost my best friend. Wells was just
Mama
somebody
don't
that you
know you,
automatically
boy.
just felt so comfortable to talk to. Nobody would ever hurt Nolan in our
Nobody, the parents don't know this Shepherd kid. Okay?
friend group. We would die for him. We would do everything in our power for that guy. If he needed anything, we would do it. Nolan brought us all together. And look, we now know one of the potential next steps, that this case could potentially be presented to a grand jury. Ben Crump announced that during a press conference, that the family had met with Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers McGrath. And the key takeaway from that meeting was that the DA said, according to him, that they would turn the case over to a grand jury for potential filing of charges or indictment once the sheriff's office finishes its investigation. To be clear, though, that's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that it'll be presented to a grand jury. It's not a guarantee that a grand jury would return an indictment. And by the way, we're not even saying that would be a homicide charge. Someone could potentially be charged with a crime that's unrelated specifically to Nolan's death. Tampering with evidence, lying to police. I'm not saying that that happened, but I'm just giving you something to consider as we talk about the possibility of a grand jury. Going back to Sheriff John Ledbetter, he told ABC, I think it's important we don't put ourselves on a timetable, that we don't rush ourselves, but I do think it's important to be diligent in gathering all the facts. That's what the family deserves. He's right. That is what the family deserves. But look, we don't know what happened to Nolan. We don't know what he did after 3 p.m. We don't know if he died in the water, on land, or on a boat. We don't know if anybody had a role or there's criminal culpability here. We don't know if his phone was tampered with. We don't know who's telling the truth or not. But what I do know is we're going to stay on top of this and see how this progresses. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you so much.
Okay. That gave us a lot to think about, a lot of questions. Okay. Now, we don't have long, so I do want to show the interview with that friend, that person that calls himself Nolan's friend. Okay, before we leave. Let me go ahead and get that out right quick. Because I really want to get that part out. Let me just give me 1 second. This is with Good Morning America. This has got July the 13th on it. Okay. Let me just put this in here because, like I said, everything I put in here, every video that you all watch is going to get put in my description box below my video under credit. Okay. Let me get it started for you. This is Good Morning America. It seems like everybody got this video. Okay, here we go. Let me see. The Nolan funeral will tell us who was there and not on Monday. That is true, Linda. It's gonna be everybody gonna be watching out. Now, if you didn't do nothing to Nolan and you was his friend and you trying to help his parents, there's no reason you shouldn't be at that funeral. But if you trying to hide stuff, you ain't gonna be there. Here we go.
I just know I've lost my best friend.
This morning, a friend of Nolan Wells, who was with the 18-year-old the day he was last seen alive, is sharing what he says happened during a July 4th boat trip to an isolated barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Trayston Shepard declined to speak with us on camera because he says he and his friends are getting threats.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
Shepard addressed this viral video that investigators have been studying. Wells's parents worried it showed their son involved in a confrontation, but Shepard said that's him, not Wells.
That's the video I'm referring to. That's me yelling.
Shepard says he took a boat back from Horn Island in the late afternoon, but Wells stayed behind with a girl he had met.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they'd ever hung out was at Horn Island on July 4th.
Investigators believe Wells drowned and say there were no immediate signs of foul play. But there is growing frustration in the community, and his parents are skeptical, telling GMA Wells left his phone behind and they tracked it to one of his friends.
It was showing everywhere the phone had been. I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land.
The sheriff said the parents have not turned over the phone to investigators. Their lawyer said they will. While the investigation goes on, Trayston Shepard wants the focus on his friend.
I want everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan and let us remember him as in like the sweet guy. I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown.
Shepard has spoken with the police guys, and the sheriff told us that both he and all of Wells's friends have been cooperative. We're still waiting on the results of the official autopsy and the independent autopsy the family has ordered, hoping to get the Wells family the answers that they so desperately seek. Guys.
So good to have you there, Aaron, and your investigative team, because so many people are wanting to have a thorough investigation. Thank you. And when you spoke with the parents, that's what they said, as any parents would. All they want to know, the facts, and let the investigation, enough of the speculation, let there be investigation.
Absolutely.
But y'all know what? It's hard to let let that be that, because let the young man let everybody just relax and let the investigation take place. Nobody is speaking. The investigators are not calling nobody in for questioning. Nobody. Yeah, I know he's a kid. He's just a kid. If you don't know any better, Pinkie is more questions than answers. Yes, it is. I got a few minutes left, maybe just enough for this here. Nolan parents break their silence on GMC. I got just enough for this. Here we go, guys.
More on the mysterious death of Nolan Wells. We're joined by his parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, as well as their attorney, Ben Crump. And before we get started, first off, I want to thank you for being here under these circumstances. I know how extremely tough it must be. And we can express how sorry we are for you and your family. And first question, how are you two holding on?
Taking it second by second.
Day by day.
Second by second and day by day, which we all can understand. And I just want to ask you, the friends that Nolan traveled to Horn Island with, they said he stayed behind voluntarily. Why would he stay behind?
That we cannot answer. I can't fathom why he would. Like,
I don't know why he would. We always taught him to, if you go with a group, you stay with a group. Even when he was in college, he would say, Dad, well, we're going to ride down to a party or something in another city. Now, so I was telling him, look, if you go with 5, you come back with 5. Do not separate from the group. Because I always said safety is in numbers. And he always said, yes, sir. So he knew to stay with his group. So why would he split from his group? I don't know.
So that would have been unusual for him to split from the group. And you said he would always check in with you. Did he check in with you that day?
So that day, no, I don't. But of course, too, they were on the boat. And usually when he is out there, which is not uncommon, he's, I think, since last year, he's been going there occasionally with his friends. And so it would always just be like, hey, Mom, I'm back, type of thing. But this time there was no call or text from him. It was from his friend.
And then, too, really didn't worry a lot about it because, it was his last weekend to have fun because that Monday he had to report to school. We was preparing to take him back for camp, prepare for the season. So, we're going to see. He wanted to have his last little ride before he locked down and get ready for the season. Because, like I said, the entire summer he's training. He got more serious. He started to understand what I was trying to tell him about football, not just being fun, but as you get farther in it, it becomes a business. If you want to excel, you have to understand it. You have to understand both at the same time.
And we know, Ben, that you said that you're going to do an independent investigation.
Yes.
And you say you have Nolan's cell phone and messages were deleted. How could you tell messages were deleted?
Well, his parents got the phone back, and that's something that's important, Michael, because they tracked this phone on Life 360.
So Life 360, but when I received the phone call from Warren, I immediately called my friend Tashima, and I said, hey, have you guys seen Nolan? Because her 2 sons, Jalen and Javon, they grew up together. They played City League sports together. When they got into school, they played sports together. And so she was like, hey, okay, the boys were pulling up the location from Snapchat. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. I'm not. He's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Well, how were you able to get the phone?
So we tracked it, and my friend Tashima went and picked it up.
It wasn't like they said we got his phone, they tracked it. And that highlights all these contradictions, Michael. The fact that they said Nolan was talking to a young woman and she said that he said, I'm going back to get on the boat with the boys. The boys said that he said he was going to stay with her. And so that's an obvious contradiction. And then this video of this, you can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing? And so then his phone ends up missing. I don't know any teenagers, Michael Strahan, who says, if you believe that story, I'm gonna stay behind and I'm gonna leave my phone. I mean, no young person leaves their cell phone. And so then there's so many things their parents were telling us about, even why didn't his body wash up with the tide on Sunday? Why would it come on Monday? It's not adding up. And that is the problem when you think about the history of Mississippi.
Yeah, so there's so many questions that need to be answered. And is there anything you'd like people to know about Nolan? What would you like them to know about your son?
No,
okay.
Nolan, take time.
Okay,
Nolan was very loving. He was liked by all. It was not a friend that he couldn't make.
No, we'll be right back with more for the parents of Nolan Wells and attorney Ben Crump. We're back now on GMA with the parents of Nolan Wells, Christine and Elmore Wansley. And I want you to please continue to tell us what you want the world to know about your son.
So Nolan was just like this bright light, right? Walk into a room, his smile, his energy was just so infectious. Like it's almost like he drew you into him. And he was just one of those people, like he always wanted everyone to be included. He didn't want anyone to feel left out. I remember one of his teachers emailing us. I can't remember what grade he was in, but basically it was math class. They had a special needs student and she asked a question and Nolan got everyone to put their hands down because he wanted that student to answer. And so student answers the question and she was like, Christine, the classroom, Nolan went crazy and everyone else started going crazy, just celebrating that child, making them feel included. And that was the person he was. Like he loved everyone. And I always told Nolan, like, you have to be careful when you have such a big heart like that. I love that God blessed you with that, but you have to be careful with that because that it's not always returned, that type of love. But he was just genuinely a good person. Like I always say, all the best parts of me are with him.
And Dad, anything else you want to add?
It's just, he's going to be really missed. I know a lot of his teammates, they all look at him as a leader. He's more like a silent leader, not real big on words, more action, which is kind of like I was. I really wasn't real big on talking. I really wanted to show you and you follow me and people follow him. And it just gravitated. He put in the work, he worked hard and he knew he was focused on what he wanted. And he wanted to make life better for his family. He wanted to have his own family. He used to say, Dad, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. I said, well, son, you got to take it one step at a time. Slow down. Let's go. Let's walk this thing out. Let's train. Let's sign our deals. Let's make these teams, make these camps, put the work in, and everything else will work out. Even his baby brother, their bond got even stronger because now I have a big brother that he's finna do something. So now I want to outdo that. So his focus and his confidence has got even better. So I was looking forward to both of them having outstanding years.
It seemed like he inspired in the home and he inspired outside of the home. And Attorney Crump, where do we go from here? What's next?
Well, the deleted messages that Christina was going to briefly touch on, we want to get the phone and figure that out.
Backtrack on that. When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos, like there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious,
We having an independent autopsy done at the behest of his family. Colin Kaepernick helped pay for the independent autopsy. We flew his body up from Mississippi to D.C. because they wanted an autopsy done by a person with no interaction with the Mississippi law enforcement, because there's an issue of trust here that is really important. And the fact that they keep trying to say, suggesting it was a drowning, but nobody out there reported him drowning, it's not adding up, Michael Strahan. It is not adding up.
And honestly, we are doing this because at the end of the day, I would hope any parent would fight for their kids to find out if anything happened, what did happen. So we just want honesty and transparency. We want a thorough investigation. We want that same respect that would be given to anybody else. And that's it. We just want answers.
Well, we really appreciate all of you being here. We hope you get the answers that you deserve to have, and we hope you get the closure that you need. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you
much.
Okay, guys. Thank you all for being here on this live today. Although was a lot of people trying to shut me down. But let me just say this. The timeline of everything is tight. The explanations don't add up. Nolan was a son, a student, an athlete, a young man with a future. His family is not asking for speculations. They want the facts. They want honesty. They are asking for accountability. And then until the end, what happened on Horn Island is brought up into the light. This case will remain exactly where it is. Exactly where it is. Okay? And we on social media, we're going to find the answers. We're going to find the answers for that family, for Nolan Wells. And I want to say rest in peace, Nolan. Thank you, guys.